Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Speaking Our Podcast. And I'm your host, Darius Silver, aka Mr. GQ. Back with another conversation, back with another hot topic, back with another episode with another positive word, another positive topic that's gonna help spread the word of motivating and inspiring others to speak up. So, if you haven't checked out my previous episodes, make sure you go and do that. Like, there's some good topics, some good content. But for today's episode, it's something that is very, very, I think is important that a lot of people talk about and that affects everybody. So, if you're a new viewer, thank you for tuning in. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for staying tuned and supporting me in the podcast. And keep on spreading the word. You're watching and speaking on our podcast right now. So let me ask you this. What are you doing if you ever hit the subscribe button right now? What are you doing if you ever hit the share or like button right now? And what are you doing if you haven't commented something right now or shared your opinion or spoke up on something? So do me a favor. Before you continue, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and most importantly, speak up. Spreading the podcast. So, if you are ready for today's episode, say with me. Let's ride. So, for today's episode, it's centered around a topic that I've talked about before, but as I have a spin on it. It was pretty much two questions around politics, society, and hard truths. And the reason I want to talk about it or spread the awareness about it is because, one, everybody has a voice nowadays. It's 2026. Everyone has a podcast. Everybody has a voice, wants a following, wants an audience. So I wanted to have a topic that is centered around that, but also centric around speech and politics at the same exact time. So for today's topic, the two questions I'm going to speak on and talk about for today's episode is this. Listen closely. These two topics I'm going to talk about. Number one, has politics become more about identity than solutions? Number two, is freedom of speech actually free anymore or only when it's popular? Only when it's popular. Those are the two topics I'm going to talk about for today's episode, so make sure you pay attention and listen closely. I'm going to say it again. Has politics become more about identity than solutions? And is freedom of speech actually free anymore or only when it's popular? I'm going to touch on the first topic about politics. Has politics become more about identity than solutions? Yes. And I've said this before, many of my other episodes that I've made before. Politics have been around for decades and decades and decades and centuries and centuries and centuries. And politics will continue to be on for decades and decades and decades and centuries and years and so on and so forth. So that's not going to change. So we can't change that as a society. But what I can say is that politics, decades ago when I was a child, when many of you were children, when it was our parents were a little bit younger, politics had a different meaning than they mean now. Politics mean fame. Politics mean notoriety. Politics mean money. Politics mean a following. Politics mean a group of people following you just because you're popular, than actually following you because you create change or have created change. Does that make sense? Politics are more about celebrity or being a celebrity, being known, whatever, being a public figure than actually being a public figure who creates change. I'm gonna think about that. Politics, as long as you agree to a certain extent to one side, or in today's case, agree with one man that owns one party, you're gonna get further. You're gonna get further, you're gonna go further. So if you, in today's world, in the 21st century, and so forth, politics are about being a celebrity, making money, creating a following, more than just helping people or creating change or helping to create change or being part of the solution of helping communities and people who are in bad situations. That's what politics have been now for the last close to a decade or so. I'm not here to say that all politicians are bad people. A lot of us support good politicians out there in our state, local communities. There's some people out there who actually are like that, but there's also some bad apples in the mix. We all can say that politics is one crazy game. But what I can say, when I think over a decade ago, when politics started to come, especially in the social media age, get more about social media, get more about following, and being grown in social media with the digital age of technology, when anybody can say something and be misinterpreted, or anybody can say something, whether it's factual or fiction, that changed everything, especially in politics, knowing how so fragile and politics can be, especially with two sides, Republican side and Democratic side, especially the Republican side. And no disrespect. I mean, no disrespect out there, but Republicans will believe anything. I'm sorry to say it. Someone said that you can sell water to a well. Someone said one famous quote I heard before. A businessman can sell water, a salesman can sell water to a well. And that's what Republicans are. As long as you feed them what they think they already know, they will believe it, no matter if it's factual or fiction. So they will believe anything. So when I say politics are more about identity, it's more about fame, status, celebrity, money, a following, being a public figure, being a star, than being a true servant and being someone who actually affects change. Again, our president, not going to speak too much on him. I've made enough episodes about him in the past, but we have one person in the presidency that kind of rules one party. No matter what he says, goes. So if you're a Republican on that side and you want to rise your status or rise your following or rise your identity, you have to follow his lead and follow him. If you don't, your career is pretty much over. That's where politics have come to. No matter if you have stats on your side, a proven plan on your side, stats where you've done things in the past helping create things for communities inside society. No matter if you have that, and if you disagree with our president one time, Trump, your career is over. Your career is over. So politics have changed tremendously for the past decade or so, 10, 15 years. And who am I to say, who is anybody to say how politics is going to be in the next 10 to 15 years? Is there going to be another Trump, a type of Trump? Is there going to be another person that rules the Republican Party? Is there going to be one person that rules the Democratic Party? Back in the day, Barack Obama was that star celebrity of the Democratic Party back in the day. Yes, there was Clinton and Jimmy Carter and all these Democrats, but truly, to say, of all time, I can honestly say, be respectful about it, Trump was probably the biggest Republican star known to man ever, in my opinion, and then Barack Obama was the biggest star, no matter what, in the Democratic Party of all time. That's just my hot take. Do you agree? Donald Trump was the biggest star ever in the Republican Party, no matter what Republicans you talk about, and then Barack Obama is one of the biggest stars ever in the Democratic Party. But my only rebuttal to that is that Barack Obama doesn't go out there and chase fame. It's natural. People tend to follow him. He doesn't go out there and try to chase fame and celebrity. It comes natural to him, whether he wants it or not. That's the difference between one man from the Trump from him. That's my 2 cents. That's my opinion. I mean, you guys can respectfully disagree, but that's just my 2 cents, my opinion about it, my hot take. So that's what I want to talk about, is that politics are more about identity than solutions. But back in the day, politicians, people in government, senators, representatives, state and local people who actually affect change higher up and lower up, wanted to have a real effect on communities and whatsoever. But now, with social media, TV, taking a digital age, everybody just wants a following while making people think that they actually care about them and actually want to affect their lives in a positive way. It's more about the TV, the stats, and the ratings, and the followings, and the likes, and all this type of stuff. It's more about that now into digital age than helping affect change. So that's my opinion on that. Number 2, my second topic I want to talk about that I really want to address in today's episode is freedom of speech actually free anymore, only when it's popular? To be frank, to be blunt, obviously there's free speech is still, yes, you got the Constitution, our constitutional right to have free speech. Everybody, no matter what side you're on, no matter what age, what gender, no matter what you identify as, yes, technically, speech is still free. But I would say that there's a caveat to it. I learned this in one of my economics class years ago. Everything has a cost. Everything has a cost. When you think about it. It could be a money type of cost, or emotional cost, or a cost. Everything, there's nothing like that's free. Nothing like, so young kids out there, if you listen closely, nothing like is free. Everything has a cost. So when you have unpopular opinions, hot takes, your own platform of saying things, no matter if it's popular, unpopular, fact, fiction, it has a funnel to it. If people disagree with you, there's a cost to it. With, your following, your family, your friends, your job or career, or what you're going after, your goals, something's going to be affected with having your own speech about what you say, no matter if it's popular or unpopular. So when I say is speech actually free, technically, yes. But practically, no, because everything has a cost to it. You could, especially in today's world, people lose their jobs for having hot takes. People lose their jobs for having unpopular opinions. People lose their jobs for not agreeing with the collective and rather than having their own true mind way of thinking. That's what I mean by technically yes, practically no. Everything has a cost, including what you said. Not a cost in reality. You still got your constitutional right technically, but up to a certain extent. If you're out there having public free speech, trying to create violence or create crimes or rally around the wrong people, yes, it's not free. But if you're out there trying to have your own voice, inspire others, no matter if it's unpopular or unpopular, there's gonna be a cost to it, no matter what, no matter if it's right, especially when it's right. Because if you don't agree with the full collective and what and people going one way, everybody's going one way, you choose to go a separate way or your own path, that's tend to make people think that you just want to be different or you're just completely wrong. So I tend to want to inspire others that don't be afraid to be that one person or that particular person that is not afraid to stand out, not what people think, right? there's many people out there. Again, it goes back to my first topic. There's many people out there that wants to disagree with the man, the presidency, and they're not afraid of consequences. They're not afraid of consequences because they know what's right, integrity, doing the right thing. So when you want to have your own opinion, especially when it's free speech, as long as you know you're doing the right thing, you're a person of integrity, a woman of integrity, a man of integrity, you think you're doing the right thing for yourself, for your family, for the people around you, go for it, right? Don't be afraid of consequences that might come with having free speech or having your own platform, or having your own ways of thinking, because that's in reality, that's one of the few things that you actually do have for yourself. So is freedom of speech free? Yes and no. But and technically, yes. Practically, no. Now that's one of the things I want you guys to think about in terms of your own lives. Do you consider yourself to have free speech with things that you're passionate about, or things that you really care about? And how do you go about keeping your free speech to make it so that you have your own way of thinking without having people trying to change how you think or make you go one way where you don't want to go the other way? That's what I want you guys to think about for this particular topic. And the other topic about the politics and having your own identity and writing their solutions. As you get older, as you go on with learning more about voting and your rights and who to vote for, why to vote for a particular person, what they stand for, about certain policies that's going on in your society and community, you see how so many people are in control of that, or the people who are trying to go after fame and status is in charge of that. Do you realize that yes, it's more about politics, is more about having a following? And if you have a big following, and just in life you're a businessman or someone that's in the entertainment industry, sports industry, and you have a big following, anybody get into politics, matter if you know about government, where you know about policies, where you know about political science, anybody can. So right now, if you're a star, if you have a following, if you're an influencer, more than likely they will get into politics or can't get into politics. That's because that's what politics is about now. And that's my hot take. That's my hot take. And those are my two topics that I want to talk to you guys about, make you guys think, and have myself gain your opinion and hear me out, and I can hear you guys out. So, two things, two important things. Let me know what you think about these two topics in the comment section or my social media platforms. Give me your opinion. And number two, that's the first thing. Number two, come back again for another episode of Speaking Out Podcast. I promise you, won't be nothing but hot topics for you guys. Nothing but topics that gonna make you think about and change your way of thinking, and hopefully change your people around you, your way of thinking, So, yeah. Let's go end this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's go end this episode out the right way as you always do. So if you're a new viewer, make sure you pay attention to how we do things right here in the Speaking Out Podcast. If you're a returning viewer, just go ahead and say it with me. As stay mellow, keep a mellow mind, stay focused on what's important, stay on a narrow path. And there's my man Cameron Newton says, you got one finger, one pinky, one thumb, one love. Boom.